This is actually an update from a story I gave you last week. Last week, I talked about how the city of Hartford, Connecticut had decided to fly a Christian flag outside City Hall just before Easter. And two members of the city council were like, maybe this is a bad idea. One of the guys is like, I wrote the rules for how we conduct business, and you are violating the law right now. And I know that because I helped write the law. But those two people were outnumbered 7-2. So they flew this Christian flag. And there's a question of, is that a violation of the law? Will anyone file a lawsuit over that? Who knows? But this is where it gets fun. This guy right here, this is Chaz Stevens, and he's from Florida. He's an activist. A lot of times that you may have seen him recently is when a state passes a law, like in Louisiana, to put the 10 Commandments in every classroom. Chaz is like, well, I'm going to make some 10 Commandments posters, but they're going to be written in Arabic, or they're going to have a red satanic symbol in the background. I'm going to send schools those for free. And guess what? It's a donation. You should put it up. Like, that's his style of activism. So this is Chaz. And after he heard about that story in Hartford, about them putting up a Christian flag, he said, well, guess what? I have a flag. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for his flag? This is his flag. I'll remove myself. Ministry of Chaz the Bropostle, the Church of Satanology and Perpetual Soirée. Satan loves the First Amendment. This is his flag. And he's like, I want you to put up my flag outside City Hall because Satanology, which I guess is a pun on Scientology, he's like, Satanology is my religion. And how dare you discriminate against me? So he has now decided he's going to go to all these cities that have hoisted religious symbols on the flagpole. And that's not just Hartford, Connecticut. Other cities include Bridgeport, Connecticut, Merced, California, Manteca, California, Johnson City, Tennessee, Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. He's just getting started there. But he's going to go to these cities and ask them to put up his flag. And this is what he told the local news outlet about all this. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in Satan, but it's to draw an uncomfortable attention to something. So it's pushback, the fact that there are flags up, Christian flags or religious flags at City Hall and public space. That's uncomfortable to a lot of us. The flag says Satan loves the First Amendment. It's not profane. It's not vulgar. There's nothing about this flag that should raise an eyebrow. If you put the cross up, which is a symbol of their beliefs, you should put up my flag. Which, yeah, he's not wrong about that. And he adds, when they put up the Christian flag, they made the flagpole a public forum. And with a public forum, you have to have the free flow of information. You can't pick and choose. So he is right about that. If you're going to allow a Christian flag to go up, you don't get to say no just because someone else comes in and they have a religion you don't agree with or you think is satire. It doesn't matter. I spoke with Chaz earlier this week, and he told me, I'm sending letters to a whole bunch of other cities. I got a text from him just before I came on air today, where he's like, I just sent letters to the following few cities, too. And the amazing thing about this is what he is doing now is exactly what two of those Hartford council members said would happen if they raised the Christian flag. They said, you're going to get requests from people you may not want to approve. And remember, one of those council members said, the guy who helped write the ordinance, the law that they should be living by, said the flag is not a forum for free expression. And that's why you can't put up the Christian flag. It's not a free expression forum. It's not a public forum. And also, he said, the flagpole is an endorsement by the city. So he said, if we put up a Christian flag, we are endorsing a religion. We cannot do that, but they did it anyway. Here's a quick plug that I feel like I owe Chaz then, if I'm mentioning this. He is trying to train other activists to join his fight. And you can go to revolt.training if you want to be a part of that. And he actually said in the email he sent to all these city leaders, you've opened the door. I'm simply walking through it with horns held high and very, very sharp elbows. I'm not here to provoke. I am here to participate. But I won't be denied the rights you've granted others. which is hilarious. Here's another reason, like his fight is working. This weekend, he actually made the front page of the Hartford Courant. Religious flag prompts satanic request. And if I can zoom in, I don't know if I can zoom in. I want to zoom in on one of the things he said on the front page. Look at this right here. At the very bottom right, still on page 1. There is case law talking about limited public forums, and the fact that the government put up this flag means they have to put up other flags. They made the mistake. And if you play a stupid game, you are going to win stupid prizes. Which is a great way to talk about his own satanic flag, which is just hilarious. So in Hartford, they actually went to those 2 city council members and they're like, hey, this dude wants to put up a satanic flag. What do you think about it? And they asked one of the guys who voted against it. What was his name? Joshua Mictum is his name. I want to show you what he said because he's well aware of what Chaz is doing here. And look at this. It seems like this letter was sent to poke the city in the eye for its poor choices previously, and it seems like he knows how to do that, Mictum said. Certainly, the law is on his side. I will vote against the religious flag, and I vote against raising his flag for the same reason, but it seems to me that what he is going to do is sue us to force us to raise his flag, and he would be right to do so. Maybe we'll learn a lesson. That's not usually what city council does, but maybe this will be the special occasion. Fantastic. I love that so much. Like, even that council member's like, yeah, I don't want him to raise his flag, but also he's totally right in everything he's doing. So will he be successful? I don't know, but we'll find out. By the way, there's one city, New Britain, Connecticut, which said to a reporter in response to his letter, they said, we're rejecting his proposal because all flag requests have to come from local residents. And Stevens lives in Florida. So I'm just saying, look, if any of you live in New Britain, Connecticut, and you want to raise some good trouble, stir some good trouble, get in contact with Chaz at revolt.training, and I'm sure he'll send you a flag to put up there. So that's interesting. One of the city's flag policies, by the way, some of them say we're not going to put up anything that is inappropriate, offensive, discriminatory, or controversial, and they have a right to do that to maintain peace and public safety. That's in New Britain, Connecticut. But again, this goes back to what counts as controversial. Because if they're going to say we're not going to put up that satanic flag, it's offensive, who gets to decide that? Because there's nothing on that flag I showed you that is offensive. It's not anti-anything. It mentions Satan, but it's not anti-Christian in any meaningful way. Christians are the ones who believe in Satan. And so if they want to say no, even if a local requests it, now they're really setting themselves up for a lawsuit. By the way, I find the Christian flag offensive, so maybe that shouldn't go up. Does that count? Or do my views not matter in all of that? He also said in an interview with me, Chaz did, that he thinks donating to his cause at revolt.training would be the best way to help him out because he needs to raise funds so he can sue the cities that are ultimately going to reject his proposals. Up to you. But anyway, I love that he's doing it. I don't know how successful it'll be, but we're going to find out very soon because he's literally targeting cities that have put up Christian flags or said they're okay with it. I'm going to look at any questions here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, you're making my point right here. I find Christianity offensive. And yeah, obviously, it shouldn't matter if you find it offensive. If it's legal, it ought to go up. So, but the question is, they're all basically going to make the argument that Satanism is somehow offensive. You don't get to distinguish. That's not your job. So we'll see. What else? Oh, this is good. This is the more polite version of FAFO. I'll leave it at that. What else we got here? Send one from the flying spaghetti monster. Listen, any of you can get any flag you want up in some of these cities, right? It could be fun. This is an interesting point. The cross is a symbol of death and torture. His is way more publicly appropriate. Fair point. Anything else here? Yep. Best troll ever. Very true. Another one. Satan loves the First Amendment. I love that. Perfect. No notes. Yep. He's having fun, and it is fun covering his stories just because they're always like this. His other instance of where he was trying to do this is in the Broward County Public Schools in Florida, because that school district had advertisements outside the football fields at their high schools. And so local businesses, in theory, could pay money to have their banner outside the football field. So Chaz said, all right, put up my Satanist banner. And they said no to him. And he filed a lawsuit over it when they said no, but also he wrote the lawsuit himself. He didn't hire a lawyer. He just tried to do it himself. And it was tossed out by the courts. However, the fact that he kept pushing them, it made the school district change its policy to say, we will not allow any political or religious banners to go up, because they had said yes to a church banner. So they said new policy, no politics, no religion. However, so that means Chaz won that battle. But that also sets up the school district where if a right-wing Christian group says, if you allow banners to go up, you can't say no on account of religion. That's kind of what the Supreme Court's been saying. So if a right-wing Christian group wanted to go after the school district for that reason, they could totally do it. They just haven't done so yet, probably because it's Florida, it's their own people. But this is the sort of good trouble that Chaz causes.